here I am at the National Speakers Association conference, the keynote speakers conference in Las Vegas, of all places, and I have met some absolutely astonishing people here today. People who are astonishing because of their presentation, because of their point of difference, because of their speaking ability, because of who they are. But I'd have to say one of the highlights so far this conference has been for me that I walked into the conference this morning and I saw this man and I couldn't believe it was him. And I think he noticed that I was gobsmacked because he actually came up and introduced himself. And this man is an icon, without a doubt. He is a member of the US ping pong team. He is a Vietnam veteran. He is a multi-millionaire. You'll recognize him as soon as you see him. He is a modern day philosopher. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Forrest Gump.
Hello, my name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. Sure nice to meet you, Rod.
It's fantastic to meet you, Forrest.
We're not strangers anymore.
Not anymore, no.
You talk funny.
Do you think I talk funny?
Mama said Forrest in Australia. The only difference between Australian language and English is that you say, "G'day, mate," at the beginnings.
He did that well, didn't he? He did that very well.
No worries. So, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, is this really Forrest Gump? Is this the real Forrest Gump, the one they made the movie about? Well, yes, I am. I'm the one they made the movie about, and the other fellow they hired was just an actor.
We know that you're not really Forrest, so Stephen, please introduce yourself.
Stupid is as stupid does.
So your real name is Steve Weber.
That's correct.
And how did you start off you've got the clothes, the box of chocolates, how did this all start?
Well, the movie came out in 1994, and the following October was Halloween. I don't know if you guys down under do any Halloween where you dress up.
Yes, my kids love Halloween. Any opportunity to get free candy from people we don't know, they're up for it.
Great. So anyway, Halloween was coincidentally one of my favorite holidays because I got to dress up and pretend that I was somebody else. So that's what I did in 1994. I even cut my haircut. Stupid is as stupid does. So I did that. I put the Halloween costume together. And then about a year and a half later, I was driving around in my car. I was being my sales rep, making my sales calls, and I heard on the radio that they were going to open up a Bubba Gump Shrimp Company based on the movie. And it was going to happen in Monterey, California, right down the road from me. And I went, you ever have that moment where you just kind of get a little goosebumps and you say, I've got to go do this?
Well, this has to happen.
That was how I felt, and so I called them up and I said, you're not going to believe it, I look just like Forrest Gump. And they said, we don't believe it. And so I said, well, how about if I come down and meet you? They forgot that I was even coming. I walked down, I had the chocolate box. I said, like,
were you dressed up? Did you have the clothes?
I had the clothes on, and I said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And they was about ready to open up the restaurant, and they said, we can hire this guy for the grand opening. And they put my picture on the cover of the newspaper, and you know, they said, oh, publicity. Here's Forrest, Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, right behind him. And so for 10 years, I just sat on the bench, opened up Bubba Gumps all across the country. There's 22 in the U.S. There's 11 international. They have one in Bali, which is as close to Australia as we get.
Oh, well, many Australians think Bali could be part of Australia. We often go there for our holiday.
You can run from Australia to Bali, or you have to take the shrimp boat part of the way.
Shrimp boat. I'm going to steal that one from you. How long did you do that before you morphed and changed into what you're doing now?
So 4 years ago, so I did it for 10 years, and so 4 years ago I said, stupid is as stupid does. If you say life is like a box of chocolates one more time, but anyway, it was always fun, and but I knew I wanted to do more. And what really happened, Rod, was that people come up and they say, this movie it's my favorite movie, and they would tell me a line from the movie, and it was a variety. Of course, Life's Like a Box of Chocolates is one of the most famous ones, but they would mention little tiny scenes that they just loved and how it affected them.
What is the appeal of Forrest Gump?
I think they feel as if there's universal truths in it. So Forrest was a very simple guy, but that's what people love. there was no hidden agenda in what Forrest did. His truth was just in who he was. So I like to think there's three main characteristics of Forrest that made him exceptional as a human being. First of all, his integrity. A promise is a promise. Secondly, his presence. He was able to be focused in the movie or focused on any one particular scene, where he was. Remember when in the movie they were put, it was in the army and it was a basic training and they were taking the rifles and they were putting them together and Forrest was putting together and he says, "Done, drill sergeant," and he does it in a record time and the drill sergeant's amazed and then he says, "Carry on, Gump," and Forrest takes it apart and he was like totally focused on it. He had the ability to just be right where he was. The third thing was receptiveness. Forrest had a childlike ability to just take things in. And so much of what happens in the world today is we instantly say no. Before we can't even listen to somebody propose some kind of an idea without rejecting it and defending where our position is. So the three things that Forrest was really good at was his integrity was impeccable, promise was a promise. He was present to what was going on at any given time, when he was playing ping pong or football, and then finally he was receptive to new ideas, and too much of that's missing. We're fixed. We think the world is a certain way, and that's all we want to do.
And so is this the message that you take to corporate America?
So yes, corporate America is who I focus on, associations, any kind of a group that needs to hear a real basic message with some entertainment and with some fun. So in this chocolate box, Mama said you never know what you're going to get, but the reality is you don't know what's inside, but you're the one who has control over picking it out. And in your life, Rod, you get to choose whatever life you want to have. And you've chosen to have a life for the last 20 years, but we've talked already, and I know that you're beginning to look and say, you know what, I want to choose a different life for myself.
That's exactly right, Steve. The reason why I'm here in the States at the moment is because I've been doing the same thing pretty well for 20 years in Australia, and there comes a time when you've been doing anything for 20 years when you wake up, you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, can I do this another 20? And for many people the answer to that is no, and so they have a massive career change, and you get people who are at the top of their game and all of a sudden they're doing self-actualization through McCartney or something like that. For me the answer was yes, but it's got to change.
The movie Forrest Gump, what happened is that there was always opportunity coming into Forrest's life, but there was always adversity that followed it, or there was some kind of an adversity that came into his life first, and then always there would be an opportunity that would follow afterwards. And that's a message that the reason people liked the movie, we talk about why do people like this movie, that's real life. And when we talk about the choice, life's like a box of chocolates, you get to choose the one, you get to choose how you perceive these things. And so I really believe is that you are choosing to believe that if you know that in adversity, there's always going to be opportunity. Well, adversity doesn't look nearly as bad. And if you know that every time you have an opportunity, there's going to be challenges with it, when those challenges show up, they're not going to defeat you. They're not going to set you off course. You're expecting them, or you're waiting for them, or you're better prepared to handle them, or you're not defeated. That you're in this funny stage of your life where you've had a past and you've been successful with it, but now you've seen that it's time for you to reinvent yourself, just like Forrest maybe switched from playing ping pong to shrimping, and then from shrimping to giving away his money when he became rich. He just kept reinventing himself. So Rod, you're not thinking of running all the way across the United States from here in Las Vegas, all the way over to Washington, D.C., and then back across the country, all the way to California, are you?
I've been running across Australia for the last 20 years. I don't see how running across America is going to be that much harder.
I think that's a fine idea. Well, maybe you and I are going to run together.
That sounds like a great idea. Please excuse any accidents with the accent, please. Thank you very much, Stephen Forrest Weber Gump. Very much appreciated.
No worries.
No.
See you later, mate.
So he did that so well. Fantastic. Thank you very much once again, Stephen. And look, One thing that comes to mind for me is that the whole life is like a box of chocolates is now a modern day proverb. So I would strongly recommend that you get the video out again and have another good look at it. And also if you want some down-to-earth practical philosophy that everyone in your organisation can understand, I'd strongly recommend that you talk to Stephen and to visit his website, which is called speakinggump.com.